factoring the greatest common factor, factoring the distributive property. So anytime you want to factor, remember, factoring is division. It's the exact opposite of multiplication. All right? Anytime you're going to factor, always, always, always look for the GCF. This is hugely important. Okay? It's huge. It'll make your life simpler. It'll make something factorable even more factorable, easier to factor. So let's go backwards. Distributing. We're going to multiply this and multiply this, which gives me negative 2x plus 14. We send this in, we're going to get 14, and remember, we usually go alphabetical order, so we're going to say xy. And here, plus 21y. Okay? So that's multiplying, that's sending it in. Factoring is going the opposite direction. And you're asking, what do they have in common? What number do they have in common? So first off, step one, what is the GCF of 14x and 21? So look at the numbers first. 7. So 7 goes into 14, 21, and it's the greatest number that goes into both. It's, in fact, the only one, other than 1. But we always want the greatest one. Now, do they have a common letter? No, they don't. The first one has an x, the second one has nothing. Now, if the first one had an x squared and the second one had an x, we could say they have an x in common. But that doesn't apply here. So, now we're going to divide by each term by the GCF. Okay? So we're going to take it out. And the answer is going to be looking like this. 7 times 14 divided by 7 is 2. And 21 divided by 7 is 3. So literally, all you do is, if I'm starting a problem like this, and I'm looking at it like this, I immediately just put parentheses underneath it. And then I put the GCF out here, and then I factor like we just did. Now, when it says divide each term, some people like to do this, where they'll put a little 7 here and put a little 7 here. I personally don't like that method, because what it leads to is a lot of times people just writing that and forgetting to put the 7 in front. So I don't like that. That's technically what you're doing is you're dividing. I just don't like teaching it that way, because I see kids do this all the time, and then they just write 2x plus 3. They don't move this out to the front. If you need to do it that way, fine, but make sure whatever you divide by goes in front. Okay, so let's look at the numbers. 4 and 8. What goes into 4 and 8? 2. But is that the biggest number that goes into 4 and 8? No, it's not. So 4 is the greatest common factor. We always want to go for the biggest one. Now the a's. We have a squared and a. What do they have in common? Just an a. You always go for the smallest one. You pull out the smallest one. They don't both have 2, but they do both have 1. So we start off by writing that GCF. And then we put our parentheses. And now we just straight divide. 4 divided by 4 is 1. A squared divided by a is a. You don't have to put the 1. It's up to you. Minus 8 divided by 4 is 2. And the a's cancel. And that's what we're left with. Odd number like that. All right, so now we're just going to do it. Okay? So, what goes into 18 and 30? Okay, 2 goes in, right? But it's not the biggest one, it's 6. No letters in common, so we just start dividing. 18 divided by 6, 3. The x tag's long. 30 divided by 6, 5. It is fun. I'm just going to do these and then move over. So here, now here you have 3. What goes into 4, 20, and 24? It is 4. Not 2. Although that is a factor, we want the greatest one. Now look at the x's. I have x3, x2, no x. just 4. If there was an x here, we could pull an x out. But without there being an x in each one, we can't take anything away. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. Again, you don't have to put the 1. I just like to when we're doing it like this. X cubed just drops down. Tags along. Positive 20 divided by 4 is positive 5. And the x squared just tags along. And positive 24 divided by 4 is 6. And we're done. Just get in this habit. Here's a good way to do it. Just look at the 3's. 3. Look at the x's. I have 2 and 1. I can take 1 out. Y's. I have 1 and 1. So I can take 1 out. Now, you listen carefully on this one. The second part. 3 divided by 3 is 1. X squared divided by x is x. Y divided by y cancels. So don't write this down. Here's what I see people do all the time. Oh, 3xy divided by 3xy, that's nothing. Boom, I'm done. I see this all the time. I see it in Algebra 2 all the time. Look at it. The original one had something plus something. If I distribute right now, am I going to get a binomial? No, I'm going to get a monomial. 1 by 1 is 1. I need to have 2 terms in that parentheses. Not to mention, it's a silly mistake. Something divided by itself is not nothing. You're thinking it cancels. Yeah, it does cancel, but something divided by itself is 1. This is huge. I can't stress this enough. One of the most common mistakes I see is people just, oh, it's nothing. It's not. Okay, I'm looking at my x's first, on number 7. I have 2, I have 1, I have 2. The most they have in common is 1. I'm looking at my y's. I have 4, 2, and 2. The most I have in common, 2. Now I divide. Another hint, especially under number 4, what you could have done, watch this. You don't have to write this. But you could do this. Write your thing. When you write your parentheses, just put that plus sign immediately. That is a way to help remind you not to forget there's a second part. So like on this one, I know I'm going to have 2 minuses here. So why not put that first? Save the spots. Now start dividing. x2 divided by x1 is x1. y4, y2, remember we subtract, y2. x1, x1, that cancels. y2, y2, that cancels. But if it cancels, what goes right here in the middle? 1. Very good. X squared divided by x, x, y squared cancels. I'm done. That's it. Number 5. You have 2 choices here. You can take out a 3 or a negative 3. Okay? There's not one way to do it. You can take out a 3x or you can take out a negative 3x. If I take out a 3x, watch what happens. Negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. The x's cancel. Negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. X squared divided by x is that. A negative divided by a positive is going to be negative. Now, if I take a negative out, it's basically going to be just the opposite. 1 plus 3x. Either one of those is acceptable. Okay? Most people take the negative out. And I would suggest to you, when you have a chance to do that, it'll make factoring easier most often, but you don't have to. So here's that division way of doing it. Okay? This is if you have an actual division problem to simplify. You're really dividing each of these terms by 2x. Remember that. Okay? And don't just reduce it. You need to write 2x in front. Don't forget that. I'm going to have 2 pluses here. Don't forget to put that GCF in front. So this goes here. Now, 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and the x's cancel.